most journalists are in such a, again, perception bubble. This is what people need to realize, is that the perception bubble, the download of desperately limited senses of reality and everything, is not only where much of the population is coming from, it's where the scientists are coming from, it's where the doctors are coming from, it's where the journalists are coming from. Thus, they are as perception imprisoned and enslaved as anybody else. The unfortunate thing is they stand between the authorities and what the public hears and believes to be
but
true.
David, they can say, and they do say it all the time, that it's scientifically backed, the information they downloaded or we downloaded at the school, and it's right, and you are crazy, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know, what can you tell?
Well, as I was going to say, I was pointing out, because what they were saying is, you're questioning 9/11, as if they were incredulous. You're questioning 9/11. And you know, what about the families? How would the families feel? Well, do you think the families don't want to know what happened? But then I pointed this out, and this shows the depth of the program of mainstream journalism. I said to them, were there weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? They said, well, no. I said, so we were lied to, right, about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq to justify a catastrophic war and the catastrophe that's followed? Well, yeah. I said, the very same people, not just the same agencies, the very same people that told you the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq to justify a catastrophic war were exactly the same people that told you the official story of 9/11. And so we have and their jaws start, well, actually, that's true. But they hadn't thought about it. And it's this journalistic schizophrenia. And let's look at where that's come from. No weapons of mass destruction now in Iraq is a gimme. Why? Because there were no weapons of mass destruction. But the official story of 9/11 is still the one they take, because unless evidence like weapons of mass destruction not being there comes to light, all that mainstream journalism does basically is take the official story of everything and just repeat it. They're not journalists, they are public relations officers for the official version of everything.
Isn't it their job actually to question the official stories of anything?
Well, exactly. I mean,
shouldn't this be their job?
The point is that the alternative media, people like you and me and others, have emerged to fill a void. And that void is in people doing what you're saying, questioning the official version of reality, and the official version of world events. And if you question them and what is said by officialdom stands up, fair enough. But often, almost all the time, it doesn't, and the mainstream media doesn't do that immediate questioning. So we're talking about perception manipulation. One of the great, most profound and constantly used perception manipulation, communally in the world, is something I call problem reaction solution, where you want to change society in a certain way, and you know that if you openly announce this is what we're going to do, you're going to get a resistance and a reaction against it. So you don't openly do it. You play problem reaction solution. The 33rd degree of Freemasonry has a Latin motto, ordo ab chaos, order out of chaos. And so problem reaction solution is another way of saying that. You create the chaos, you create the problem covertly, you blame someone or something else for it. You then tell, and this is the point, you then tell the public through an unquestioning media the version of that problem that you want them to believe, even though it's a lie. And then you want the reaction from the public that says, you have fear, you say, this can't go on, something must be done, do something. And then those who've covertly created the problem and blame someone else got the reaction, either do something or people open to something being done, then offer the solutions to the problems that they have covertly created, which advances this agenda of further human control. And they are often overwhelmingly solutions and changes that would never have been accepted by the public without the initial covert problem. Now, what's the antidote to that? Well, there's two things. There's the antidote from the public, which says a simple question: who benefits? Who benefits from me believing the official version of this event? And invariably, almost every time, it will be anyone that wants to justify further control, further surveillance, further war, further big brother state. And the other antidote to problem reaction solution is journalism doing its job, which now the alternative media have to do because the mainstream media won't do it. And that is, when the official version of these problem reaction solution events are announced, you question it, you dissect it, and see if it stands up. And that's what the alternative media is doing.
Someone might ask, why would I question it? It's authority, and there are really nice people and good people and whatnot. But the thing is that historically we know that these people who are claiming something today, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, they were lying to us.
Yeah.
So that's enough for me. That's the only reason I will question it, because I know these people have been lying to us.
Well, this is the kind of schizophrenia that goes on. I mean, I talked about journalists who accept there weren't weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, but believe the official story of 9/11 when both were given by the same people. That is journalistic schizophrenia. And there is public schizophrenia in the sense that over and over people say, you never believe what you read in the papers, and then they go ahead and do it. And they say, politicians, they lie. Politicians, they're liars. They're always telling you lies. Okay. So when they give you the official version of 9/11, why do you believe them? Right? Why do you believe them? Because, rightly say, the whole history of politics and military and media is that we're constantly lied to.
All right, I'll ask you this question.
That this perception download includes perception of self, so that people see themselves in little me terms. There's also the perception of the world, which comes out as hierarchy, which are there are those that know and those that don't, or they're educated. People say about scientists, they're so clever and they're so educated. People give their power away to doctors because they say, oh, the doctors are so clever, they must know what they're doing. This is the big fallacy. The big fallacy. That all scientists know what they're doing. History shows they don't. Thalidomide, just one example. They don't. Invariably, when you go through the history of science, the mainstream of science has invariably, with the hindsight of time, been wrong. Until the 1920s, they said there was one galaxy. Now they say that there's probably between 100 and 500 billion galaxies. And that's just in a relatively few decades. And so there is this giving your power away to authority, because somehow authority knows. It doesn't. And then there is that area that you talk about where people really don't want to think that things aren't as they seem. Because
Why?
Well, because they fear the fact that there is some hidden network that, shall we say, seriously doesn't have their best interests at heart. They don't want to face that. They don't want to face the fact that invasions of Iraq and Libya and Syria were actually orchestrated and planned decades ago.